Shalom everyone and Chodesh Tov. We are now getting into the month of Sivan, Gemini, the third month of the biblical calendar, and that is Gemini, which is known specially as the month of the Mount Sinai revelation. Okay, that's what is special about, and that's how it's mentioned in the Torah. Now, how do we learn about the qualities of every month? How do we understand about the influence of every zodiac sign? How do we learn how to deal with that? That's the many ways to do it, but the Kabbalistic tools, according to my experience, is basically teaching us how to use the current influences in order to upgrade, change, improve, transform our life and our behavior and our destiny. And basically, what's very important in understanding the biblical astrology, that by understanding the today, understanding the now, understanding what's going around in the universe, and what are the influences the Creator is sending us, by understanding that and learning how to use it, we basically define the future, because our future is starting today. So understanding today and behaving today by the way that we're supposed to behave, that will determine our future. And that's in our hands only. So what is that? What are the tools the Kabbalistic teachings have to explain to us and make us understand the special force that the universe is coming into when the world is going into the month of Gemini? And again, it's for people who do not understand the biblical calendar, it is very weird, because let's say if today is May 30th, so Gemini started a week ago. Okay? It started a week ago for the sun, but the moon is coming into Gemini only tonight, on the new moon of the month of Sivan, which means the moon is about the soul. So the soul sign, the soul zodiac sign, is determined by the moon, and because the frequency of the moon, the energy of the moon, the power of the moon, whatever the moon represents in our universe, according to the Kabbalistic teachings, is the power of the soul. And therefore, we go according to the new moons in order to determine the sign of every person's soul for this incarnation. And that makes it much easier than arguing, how do you know, if you go to the solar calendar, when is the sun moving from one sign to another, because there are no marks in the sky to tell us when is exactly the day. And that's why astrologers differ among them, about when is the beginning or the end of every sign. So doing it through the moon makes it much easier. Okay, so what are the qualities that we can find in the month of Sivan, Gemini, through that we can learn about them and use it in order to improve ourselves during this month? And that's a basic question. Okay, so here it is. When we go and look at the structure of the zodiac signs and the zodiac months, we have a basic structure that is based on the shape or the formula of the tree of life. Here it is symbolized by the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton, which is the holy name of God, which is basically representing the forces of the creation. So we have 4 seasons, starting with the spring. So the spring is representing the letter Yud, which is the Sephirah of Chokhmah of the Tree of Life. The summer is represented by the letter Hey, which is Binah of the Tree of Life. And the fall by the letter Vav, and the winter by the letter Hey. Each one of them has a different power. And we are discussing we're discussing the sign of Gemini. So we go back to the spring and we see spring is Chokhmah. What does it mean, Chokhmah? So I won't go into all the details of the Sephirah of Chokhmah in the Tree of Life, because that's not our topic. But Chokhmah represents the power of fire, pure energy, pure creativity, which means whenever there is a lot of energy, there is a lot of creativity. When we are full of energy, we are very creative. When our energy levels are down because we got hurt, we are depressed, we lose hope, we just tired because we ate too much. There's no energy, so there's no creativity. Okay? So the energy of the whole spring is Chokhmah, fire. And therefore, all 3 signs of the spring are in the core. They are ruled or controlled or fed by the power of fire. Chokhmah means the essence of the forces of the creation, which means Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are very powerful because they have access to a lot of energy. Therefore, they are very energetical, very creative, okay? And it's very hard to stop them because of that fire energy. Fire also, in the Kabbalistic definition, is the column, the left column. And the left column is about judgment, which means, left column means, on one hand, like fire, whoever knows the meaning of the element of fire in regular astrology. Fire on one hand is creativity, energy, power, transformation, and so on. But also fire is about, it's about selfishness. Because you see, fire, the regular fire in a fireplace, any kind of fire, it's a consuming fire, which means give me, give me, give me. Which means on the non-spiritual aspect of the 3 signs of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, they're very selfish. And therefore, we know that these 3 signs, if they're not spiritual, what does it mean to be spiritual? A lot of people make a big mistake, When a person have an inclination to mysticism, that doesn't mean they're spiritual. Not in Kabbalistic terms. Yeah, there are a lot of people that they are they have a strong inclination to mysticism. They meditate a lot. They go to places with energy vortexes. They join all kinds of events that generates energy and stuff like this. I'm saying this, New Age is a very multifaceted, especially today. Okay, the fact that the person is connecting to shamans and to ceremonies, awakening the energy of the earth or the heavens, or all kinds of ancient teachings of the Indians in America or the Aboriginals in Australia or somewhere else, all of this stuff that is very, very kind of unique and special, and some people are getting excited a lot about it. That's not spiritual. Spiritual from the Kabbalistic point of view, because remember, people who were occupied with connecting to cosmic energies were called, in the times of the Bible, idol worshippers. And that's not spiritual. Okay, so what makes the difference between idol worshippers and people that follow the Bible, follow the Torah? And the answer is, and we learn about it a lot, the answer is very, 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 very important. The commitment to transform, to ascend, and to transcend selfishness and anything of selfish behavior and feelings and emotions. If that's not existing, the fact that you can absorb forces, metaphysical forces of the other dimensions, that doesn't make you spiritual. It makes you, hungry for energy. So some people, they're hungry for energy, so they eat food. You know what? Some of them, just food is not enough, so they go and buy expensive food. Some people need sushi for that, and other people, they need special steaks of a very high quality. That energizes them, but that's pleasure for them. You have also alcohol, drugs, all kinds of stuff that make people high. Okay? And you can do any kind of following, all kinds of traditions, ancient tradition, to connect to energies that will make you feel high. The fact that you feel high doesn't make you spiritual. Remember, in ancient times, it was called idol worshipping. Okay? So, and people were used to, in order to get high, in the Middle East, in other continents, in Americas, people used, in the name of that mysticism and that high, they used to sacrifice their children, young girls. Okay? That's not spiritual. Remember that. Not everything that gets you to feel high makes you spiritual. Spirituality is something different. Spirituality, and that is basically the core of understanding the Month of Sivan and Gemini. It is about the ability to transcend and transform. Okay, so we'll go into more details later on. But first of all, we see, okay, that the fact that Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are fire signs in the core, that means that they are energetic and creative. If they are not spiritual, they can be very, very eccentric and selfish. Okay? And with a big, big problem for lack of sensitivity, because when you focus on yourself, that's not nice for others. Okay? In the long run, it's not good, not nice for you also, as we're going to learn. Now, if you look at the three, you see that every triplet, every 3 signs, which means every 3 signs of every season, is divided, every triplet is divided to right, left, and center. Right means chesed, which is water energy. Left, gvura, fire energy. Center is the air energy. And that means that Gemini is air energy because it is the 3rd month of the spring. Okay? Now, it is also air sign in the regular Zodiac, which means whoever studies common, simplistic astrology of the West, everybody knows that Geminis are air sign. Not all air signs are air also within the alignment of its position in the season. How do we see? Let's go to other air sign. We have, let's say, Aquarius. Okay, you look at Aquarius and you see that Aquarius, it is, for instance, that number 4. Okay, Aquarius, which is an air sign, but is left of the winter, which means in the core it is fire. Only the external is air. When we go to the fall, Sagittarius, we see that Libra is an air sign, but it's a right column. So you see that Libra is the right column of the air signs, Aquarius is the left column of the air signs, and Gemini is the central column of the air signs, which means among the three air signs, there is a division between right, left, and center, which means Libra, because it is a right column, they're more sensitive to others, extremely sensitive to others, and they have very strong inclination of giving and sharing, Libra. Aquarius, they are left column, that's why they're not such sharing people. They're very self-centered, usually. And if they share it just for the big story, not on the personal level. So they have a very big lack of sensitivity. So is the same with Gemini, which is they have double air because it is the third sign of the spring, and it is an air sign also in the regular astrological chart, and it is a fire sign in within, which means double air, one fire. What does it mean? It's a lot, it's a storm. So Geminis are very, very energetic. They move fast, they think fast, they do stuff fast, and they get bored quickly. They need all the time to move on because you have so much air with fire. This is a volatile thing, although volatile not in a not like Aries, which is double fire. Okay, when you get them upset, they explode. Gemini, they have 2 times air over the fire, so they don't explode, but they simply move on because they don't like it. Okay, so Gemini has a lot of air. Air means many things. Some of them are the tendency to look for balance. Okay, every time you see an air sign in any way, in any aspect, that's looking for balance. Sensitivity for balance. Okay, that's one thing. And that can be also, air is also intelligence, which means Geminis are very, very intelligent, very fast thinkers, and they know a little bit about everything, which means it's like that Gemini touch. They have to know about this and about this and about this, and that's why one of the best professions for Gemini is media. Why? Because you get to know someone, okay, and you really want to know all about him that you can tell in a short article, okay, and after you do it with a lot of intensity and a lot of charm that Geminis have, and because of the charm, people will tell you whatever you need them to tell you, and then you move on without any regret, and you forget about the interview, about the subject, about the person, because you need right now to focus on the next one. And therefore, we understand from that Geminis have an issue with creating stable relationships because of that kind of a trait, that they move in very fast into recognize somebody, charming somebody, get them enchanted, and then getting all the information they need, not too much, TMI, okay, they don't like too much information, just enough to get the idea and to be able to report about it. Or, not just media, you have also a lot of Geminis that are into selling. Why? In order to make a sale, first of all, you have to enchant and to charm the person and to make him convinced that the idea that you have to sell him, he really, really wants to have it, he really wants to have it, and he really feels it fits his interest. So to deliver a message, either you sell, if you're working in media, you have to sell ideas and people buy airtime. Airtime, correct? Now, and you sell them the airtime. It could be that kind of a show, usually information. Same thing about selling. Airtime is very important. So when you have somebody's airtime, which means they listen to you, it means that you are interesting enough and charming enough that they will listen to you and not to someone else. Okay, Geminis are very good at that. That's why they are very good at being in salespeople. Okay, and the energy, the power, the positivity, and so on of Geminis, that is it's a very important selling agent. Now, so what did we say? We said a lot. Right now we just covered the basic things about Geminis, okay, from common astrology. They are versatile, they connect fast, they move on fast, they get bored fast, very intelligent, they think fast, and that's why they're ahead of you and they can sell you anything they want. Okay? That's about very superficially about Gemini. However, if you realize, I didn't invent it. I just explained the chart we have in front of us, and if you put together all of those elements, that's what you're going to get. And I just explained to you why Geminis are what they are. Now, but that's one layer. We can go even deeper. Okay? And that's another layer. According to the Book of Formation, Sefer Yetzirah, that tradition says it was written or created by Abraham the Patriarch. It was an oral tradition for 2,000 years, till Rabbi Akiva in the first century wrote it down, and now people could copy it and learn from it. So the Sefer Yetzirah is the most ancient text as a textbook to study Kabbalah, meditation, and stuff like this. And it speaks about the creation and also about the forces of the creation. And Sefer Yetzirah explains to us the forces of the creation are basically, as we said, the four elements, but it's starting all from the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Each one of them, it's a physical expression. The shape, the way it's written, the sound, it's a physical representation of a cosmic force. And that cosmic force is in or within the structure of the tree of life. Okay? So every letter, and in Hebrew it's not called a letter, it's called ot. Ot in Hebrew means a letter, but it also means a signal, a frequency, a code. Okay? So ot is not just a letter which is a message, it is also a frequency. So we are talking about the frequencies behind each one of the forces that we understand somehow with our brains about the forces that are ruling, controlling, existing in our universe, however they are invisible. Okay? So when we're speaking about that, let's go to read a little bit about it from the Bnei Sachar, Rabbi Tzvi Elimelech Midinov, one of the greatest Kabbalists of the 19th century in Eastern Europe. And he put together in his book, Bnei Sachar, all the astrological information, wisdom that he could find in all the Jewish scriptures of thousands of years till his days. And here he speaks about he starts his commentary on the month of Sivan, Gemini. He started the commentary with what you see in front of you, in the middle of the picture. You can see four letters, the Tetragrammaton, right? Four letters of the name of God, but they are permutated in a different order. It's not Yud and Hey, Vav and Hey, as we saw in the chart. It is in a different order. And the explanation is that this order is being explained in the Zohar, Tikkunei Zohar, in the introduction to the Tikkunei Zohar, that the Tetragrammaton has 12 possible permutations. Each one of them represents, among others, each one of them represents the frequency, one aspect, one face of the frequency of each of the zodiac signs. Therefore, mathematically, you can have only 12 different permutations of the Yud K Vav K, because two of the letters are equal, the two H's. Otherwise, you had 16 permutations if there were four different letters. Now, צירוף הוויה של החודש הזה הוא, so the letters permutation of this month are Yud, Vav, Hey, Hey, and of course we see it in front of us. יוצא מפסוק, and each one of these permutations is assigned to a verse of four words somewhere in the Tanakh, from Genesis all the way to Chronicles. Okay, all of these together, there is a verse that represents that aspect, and the verse that is connected to Yud, Vav, Hey, and Hey, it's the initials of the verse Yedotav uletzela mishkan hashenit, which is in the book of Exodus, chapter 26, verses 19 kaf. Yedotav uletzela hamishkan hashenit, initials Yud, Vav, Hey, and Hey. Okay, and it speaks about hands. It speaks about the other side, different side, the second side, and that side and another side. Okay, so we see how it's connected, and therefore, if you look at it, you will see something very important, because you see that in this permutation, you can see a dichotomy. You see a polarization between the male letters of the Tetragrammaton, Yud and Vav. They are together on the right, and the female letters, the Hey and the Hey, they are both in the left, which means you create a polarity over here between the male aspect to the right and the female aspect to the left, which means the polarity over here is intensified, okay? Well, when it's Yud K Vav K, it is somehow intertwined. So you don't, it's like, when you look at the small pieces of iron, usually they lie there. If you put them in a pile, they lie there without any order, because that's what they are. But if it's a magnet, okay, then they will be aligned. Why? Because inside iron, okay, a regular iron, it has those little kind of crystals inside, in the inner organization, okay, of the atoms of the iron, but each little crystal is facing another direction, so they nullify each other. What happens in a magnet? In a magnet, all the little crystals are aligned in the same direction, and that means that you have a north pole and a south pole, and you got a magnet, which is a source for energy. If you know, like electric engine is built on that secret, and that's how electric engine is working, because electricity is creating in a magnetic field, and that magnetic field creates the movement of the electric engine. Okay? Now, according to that, we understand that here we have the same thing. We have the positive pole to the right, Yud and Vav, the two male letters. You see, first of all, they are skinny and tall, and the two letters on the left, the two female letters. Why? You see them as a house, which means they can receive and contain. That's called female, the energy of female. So you have a polarity, and the moment you have a polarity, and it's a strong polarity, it means that can generate a lot of energy. Okay? And that's the energy of the Geminis. However, when we read the Torah mentioning the month of Sivan, you can read it in the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 1. בחודש השלישי לצאת בני ישראל, and on the third month to the Exodus, they came to Sinai, and then he speaks about the third day. Okay? And what does that mean? It means that that special day, that special month is ready for Mount Sinai revelation. How? Okay? How? So if we spoke about polarity, and some people who know people of the sign of Gemini, they can swear that they have a polarity. They have swinging mood swings between, manic depressive. It's like either they're really excited and they go for it and they generate a lot of energy and kind of a little tornado of energy of doing things and achieving things and generating things. They can also become emptied, okay, until they come back to themselves. Okay, so what about that? How is that connected to Mount Sinai revelation? And here we need to understand one of the major concepts of Kabbalah. And that concept is a concept that is called the three columns concept. Everything in our universe, according to Kabbalah, has inside itself those three, usually whatever we know that exists, that our senses can define and perceive, it has three column system, which means let's go and look for a regular atom. In a regular atom, we have the nucleus, which is populated by protons. You have the big volume, which is taken by the movement of the electrons. The electron symbol is minus, the protons is plus, and in the nucleus you have also neutrons. Okay, then the neutrons, they neutralize the protons and the electrons, and they generate peace, completion, which means there is a movement that generates the atom, but the movement is harmonic. Therefore, we have a perception of matter. Matter is made of atoms. Atoms are basically clouds of little particles flying so fast in space that it makes believe there is a solid. But the solid is all movement. Okay, what keeps that movement to stay stable? And the answer is the neutrons. So the protons are related to the right column, okay? The electrons to the left column, and the neutrons are the central column. What is the job of the central column? To balance, to bridge, to unite between the two opposites, and to make them sit in peace, which means in a energetical structure that they complete each other. So the central column is communicating. The central column is unifying. It's a unification agent, a unifying agent. Okay, the central column is what can make fire and water sit together without destroying each other. Okay, nonetheless, they even support each other, enhance each other, empower each other. And therefore, the symbol for that is when it says in the Torah that when they came to the third month, they came to in front of the Mount Sinai, and they camped in front of Mount Sinai as one person, one heart. How do we know? Because it says in the Torah, "Vayichan Sham Israel keneged ההר." And Israel, single, it's mentioned as a single, camped single in front of the mountain, which means the moment you speak in single, it means, but we know Israel is a nation. 600,000 men, okay, 12 tribes, plus the Levites, plus the Kohanim, okay? How can you say they are one? They are one because something magical took all of these different, very different individuals and put them together to become one. This is the most important concept that we can ever learn. How do we take a nation, a society that is very, very diverse, 12 tribes, basically 13 tribes. Each one of them has its own culture and its own unique prototype, and make them one nation. This is the secret of everything that is successful in this world. A company, family, society, when people learn to be together, they're invincible. Okay? So, how did that happen? This is about, so what do we say? What is the nature of the month of Sivan? It is a central column. It is double air and fire also. Double air. And what does it mean? There's a very strong drive to communicate information, merchandise, and stuff like this. And here, the most powerful, the most important of all of them, which is to communicate among so many people and make them feel as one. That is the magical power of Gemini. Gemini, because of the thinking that is so fast, once they hear, the next moment they're over there. And by the way, you can see it also from the ruling planet, that according to the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation, the ruling planet is Reish, the Hebrew letter Reish. What does that mean? You see over here the letter Reish. What does that mean? Planet Mercury, under the letter Reish shows about lack, hunger. Okay, do you see, if you look at the letter Reish, it's missing all the insides. It has just the rims of the top and the right side. All the rest is empty and void. Okay? In Aramaic, or in Hebrew, I'm sorry, Rash means a poor person. Okay? Opposite to the European word of Rish, that means rich, people with plenty. No, in Hebrew, it's exactly the opposite. It is poor. Why? Because when you are convinced that whatever is going to give you fulfillment and richness, true richness, is only money and objects, or even buying people's love, then you have a big mistake. You are empty, you're void, you're hollow, and you'll feel the pain of that lack for all your life till you learn how to transcend and change and become a more spiritual person. Okay? But the planet name is Mercury. Mercury is a symbol for fast, speed. Uh, Mercury it's a metal, but it's a liquid in room temperature, and it can jump so fast from one place to another, you cannot catch it. So quick. And that's why when you say about somebody that his mind is very quick, quick as Mercury. Okay? So we have here an explanation, Kabbalistic explanation, why Mercury creates that speed. And the answer is, when is it that you move fast? Either you are very hungry, either there's something you want to get, and it's far away from you, so you really make all the effort possible to get there as fast as possible before there's nothing left for you. Okay? So the lack is the cause of a movement, of a transformation, a change. As long as you don't feel a lack, you are not really growing. Therefore, the biggest curse could be that when you grow up in a household, that everything you want, everything you wish for, is handed to you almost in no time. Okay? That is very dangerous because it gives you the luxury of being busy all the time with what do I want, what do I crave for, how do I get it, and how come I didn't get it fast enough. Okay, this is a very important thing about the letter Resh. Again, lack, void, and vacuum, which means the ability to suck in whatever information or whatever thing that you have and you can trade with in order to make a profit. So you need, in order to be really successful in sales, in business, you need to be hungry. Don't worry. Mercury, the sign of Mercury, you have the hunger built in. That's the Resh. If you don't feel it, you have to activate it. But I'm sure your friends around you will agree that you have a drive that is unusual. That is thanks to the Hebrew letter Resh. Okay, it is known in the ancient mythologies that Mercury was the messenger of God. He was flying. Okay, he was flying very fast, so that's a symbol of communication. So we know all of that stuff, it's not really legends. It's hints about the true nature of anything that we have around us in this cosmic soup of forces. Okay? So we know that the Resh is responsible for communication. That's why Geminis have a lot of charm in the area of communication. Fast thinking and intelligent. As we said, air is intelligence. When you have so much power of air in one place, you're going to have an elevated intelligence. Okay, so, and again, hunger. Hunger for. Now, because every sign is not good or evil. Every sign, it's only in neutral. And that means that in order to find out what is an evil sign or bad sign or a positive sign, nothing to do with the cosmic influences. The cosmic influences of the Zodiac are given to us as a supportive system, so we won't simply get lazy and sink into any materialistic illusion that we have a lot of them around us. Okay, so when we want to achieve greatness and positive energy, we need to use those letters as a shield, not against outside influence. It's against inside influence, against negativity, against lack of cooperation. Okay, so it's a that's what basically spirituality is about, going against all the obstacles of life and using the forces of every month will help us, which means what is the force of Mercury? So that's a time that during this month to get faster, to think faster, to communicate faster, to get there faster, to achieve faster, and to transform faster. Because when you connect, when you tap into the letter Resh, you have the hunger that you need in order to have any kind of success in the materialistic plane and in the spiritual plane. You need hunger and ambition anywhere you go if you want to. If without this hunger and ambition, whatever zodiac signs we're talking about, they're meaningless. Okay? Now, how do we activate them? And for the right cause. Okay? So what is the right cause? We come to Mount Sinai, and on Mount Sinai, it says that the first thing, as we said before, after mentioning that they came to Mount Sinai in the month of Nisan, okay, and then it says that they camped there as one. Now, which means the force of Gemini could be diversity, change, very fast change, changing faces, changing masks, changing opinions, anything. Versatility. On the other hand, when people are like-minded, they don't have to be the same. They don't need to be unity. In unity, from uniformity, the real true unity is out of versatility, which means look at the human body. It is a healthy body, functions with so many different kinds of tissues, so many different kinds of organs, that each one of them is doing a job that is so different. They don't even look alike. They don't look like they are from the same creature. Okay? Still, as long as they function as one, you are healthy. The moment they starting to blame each other and to put the responsibility on each other, and that means you're starting to age and to get sick. And then you don't see well, you don't hear well, you don't understand well, and many other issues. So Mercury, in the core influence of the month of Gemini, has a lot of diversity, hunger. So when you have that on your side, you can safely delve into other people's lives in order to help them, while in the same time you're being charged by the light and the force of planet Mercury and the letter Resh. How do you do that? First of all, just being aware of it. Being aware that, like you see in the tetragrammaton, you have a polarity. You have plus on one side, minus on the other side. You have the merging of these two columns together to a central column, and that central column is what generates endless energy so you can grow, develop yourself, and improve. Okay? That's when you tap into the spiritual aspect of Gemini. How do you do that? As we said, when the Israelites stand as one person, one heart, that's unity. When two people can feel as one goal, one heart, and really caring for each other, then you have true love, unconditional love, okay? Love that is not dependent on any value, okay, of matter, materialistic value. And when you have that, then you can tap into the spiritual dimension of Gemini, okay? And that's very important for us to understand. Now, Gemini, you have also the letter, if we have the letter Resh, you have also the letter Zayin for Gemini. And the letter Zayin is number 7, which is, says the Bnei Issachar, when the Torah was given on Mount Sinai, it was by Moses. Moses was the 7th generation from Abraham. Abraham founded the true monotheism. Okay? 7 generations after him, Abraham, his son Isaac, his son Jacob, his son Levi, his son Kehat, his son Amram, his son Moshe. 7th generation. So, what is the 7th generation? The number 7, you have it in other places, like the 7th day of the week, like the 7th month of the year. The Hebrew year is Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. It's a whole month of holidays, okay, of revelation, of very holy days. Okay, so what is this 7 about? Because number 7 is the vessel of the creation. And when number 7 serves as the vessel properly, all the divinity, the spiritual force of the creation, settles in the true, real vessel. Okay? So, number 7 is very crucial over here. And how is it connected to Gemini? When we take the right column, here we have the Yud and the Vav, with the left column, which we have the Hey and the Hey, and we put them together so they act as one, you create a third force, what is called central column. The central column is essential for everything. If somebody just wants for himself alone love, energy, money, food, entertainment, wisdom, everything, whatever you consume poison you. Why? So we learn in the creation, when Adam was created in the image of God, he got, what does it mean an image? It's a mental image, not a physical image. But he got 3 presents as a creator, the image of God. He must be, he has the yearning and the nature of independence. And that's why people who develop dependencies are never happy. They can be excited for a short time. Easy comes, easy goes. Okay? People that, we know also that being a creator necessitates creativity, because if you don't create and you're just sitting there, you're not of a creator nature. And the third one, the most important, you share with others. When you share with others unconditionally, you are independent, you are creative, and you are a sharing being. And when you generate these 3 forces, okay, inside you, you have the ability to generate the unification between the right and the left. The I want with, but I must share with others. You want life to be great, make it that other people enjoy that greatness too. If you think just about yourself, you basically disconnect yourself from the network, because the whole network works on the energy of unity. Only when the Israelites came together as one on Mount Sinai, the heavens opened up and the Torah had been revealed to each one of them. Each one of them. Okay? Well, how? Unity. How do you create unity? Not through uniformity. By seeing the difference in somebody else and realizing I need him to complete myself, and I need him the way he is, because he needs me the way I am to complete oneself. Okay? That power of taking the right and the left, the fire and the water, and merging them into the element of air, central column, balance. But it's more than balance. You know, when is somebody balanced on his bike? Only when he goes fast ahead. If there's no energy, standing there, it's very hard to stand. You need that energy to boost the moving on straight and, vertical and not horizontal. Now, so what came on Mount Sinai? What came on Mount Sinai is the Torah. And the Torah that came on Mount Sinai came in 2 tablets. Why 2 tablets? Okay, at that time, God was making tablets, and the Torah did not get on the hard disk of only one, so he needed to give 2 tablets so Moses can download the whole Torah. On 1 tablet there was not enough hard disk, so they needed 2 tablets. How does that sound like? No, it doesn't work this way. The 2 tablets symbolize, what's the symbol of Gemini? Twins, right? Twins. Two who are one. Here it is. The 2 tablets symbolize the two who are one. What does it mean, two who are one? Gemini. What's the definition of the word Gemini in Hebrew? That it's a sign of teomim, twins. Gemini. Okay? But what's special about twins? Two who are one. In a good case, it's 2 people born together, grew together. They know how to work as a team. If they know how to work as a team, they are a great bliss to whoever is around them and to themselves. What if these 2 brothers cannot stand each other, cannot listen to each other, cannot work with each other? They become a source of chaos and chaotic energy, and you need to split and separate between them so they don't create too much destruction. How can we bring our immediate environment and our society in general into Vayichan Sham Yisrael Keneged Ahar? And Israel camped as one person, one heart, in front of the mount. How can we do that? So we learn in the Torah that came down on Mount Sinai, we learn that the world has been created by the Creator in a perfect state. We can see it on the first day of the creation. There was a night, there was a day, one day. Night is the creation aspect. Day is the Creator light and sharing aspect. One day, they are all one. Okay? So the creation was created in complete oneness and harmony. However, when everything is perfect, you feel useless. You feel void, because you can't own anything that is given to you and you didn't earn it on your own. So, on the second day, God splits all this perfection and breaks it into many, many pieces. And our job is to collect the pieces, put them together, and feel great about it. So the more awareness we have about how to do it, the more excited and happy we should become. Then, therefore, what we get on Mount Sinai is the Torah. Now, if you look at the 2 letters of the month, Reish for Mercury and Zayin for Gemini, we get a word, a Hebrew word that is called Raz. When you talk about the mystical, spiritual, hidden secrets of the Torah, in Hebrew you call it Raz, okay? Which is also the numerical value of Or, light, okay? So, why the light is a secret? Why is it a secret? And the answer is, you cannot see it. Especially in our generation, that we are so materialistic. And when we are very much materialistic, we hurt the creation. How? After the first day that everything was one, on the second day, it's not a day because the The sun and the moon were created only on the fourth day. How do you count a day when you don't have a sun? How you count anything? There's no sun and there's no existence. Okay, we're talking about forces. It's kind of the forces of the creation are somehow being described in the first chapter of Genesis. So when we're talking about the amazing power of the first day and the night and the day were one, the left and the right, the upper and the lower, the creator and the creation, everything was one. That's the same one they had on Mount Sinai. Unity. Not out of uniformity, unity out of completion. However, all of that unity broke into pieces on the second day. And that's why on the second day, God just separates and splits. Why was it like this? So we can feel greatness by putting pieces together and creating the perfect whole again. The perfect whole could be your home, somebody else's home, could be a dress that you put together and somebody else enjoys it, or you yourself. It can be anything. It can take a society and make it a harmonious group of people that really know how to communicate with each other. And again, this is communication. The Torah was the essential tool to bring humanity into that blissful state. Why? It says in Genesis, in the beginning, Ki yetzer lev ha'adam ra minurav. The nature, the inclination of the human heart is evil from birth. The heart, not the soul. Why did we get a heart that has a negative inclination? Oh, we have also a positive inclination in the heart. But that doesn't bother us. What bothers us is the negative inclination. Okay? Why do we have it? We have it as an obstacle so we can take the challenge and create the perfection, although because and in spite of all the noise and delay that evil inclination is creating in a long history and to every human being. Okay? And therefore the light is hidden. Therefore it is a secret. Because when materialism takes over, we cannot see the light anywhere. However, when we overpower our negative inclination, and we open up ourselves through the help of the text and the study of the Torah to align our minds, to align our thoughts and consciousness, to align our hearts with that best and most important secret. We're here to connect heaven and earth. We're here to connect soul and body. We're here to connect God, the Creator, and the creation. Only human beings can do that connection. Only human beings can be physically on the ground, mentally, in the physical reality, in a very practical way, and in the same time, we ascend to a spiritual realm and we inject the spiritual content and meaningness into the physical action and reality. Some homes are enchanted because the people who live there, they know how to respect the physical home and how to bring divine holy spirits inside the house. Okay? Other people, they know how to create it in their working place. They know how to generate productions, which is an event or objects, okay, or an environment that has magic inside. It's all about the ability of a human being to bring together the above and below to be one all over again. This is our mission. When we do that, we can see the light. We can see the treasured light. We not just can see it, we can internalize it and feed ourselves with that in eternally, till eternity. So that's why on the third month, central column means synthesis, unity, real shalom, peace of completion. And on the third month, on the holiday of Shavuot, Mount Sinai revelation, we got the power, the ability, the information, the programming. All what is needed is concentrated in the Torah that was given on Mount Sinai. Why was it concentrated? Because the Torah becomes the manual, the activating tool to activate the two-dimensional consciousness of a true spiritual human being. What is this two-dimensional consciousness? It's a consciousness that on one hand, you are able to eat and enjoy food. On the other hand, you can feel the mystical spiritual powers of the Creator within that food. You can feel it, you can sense it, and therefore you can bless over it to activate the godly energy inside your food. And if you don't develop that aspect, that part of your brain, and then you're just eating cardboard. You're eating just your piece of matter that eats another piece of matter. So what's the difference? No difference. Like the same way that, you eat meat, a beast eating a beast. What is there? Only when you go and you follow the laws of the Torah, you learn that every action has two dimensions involved, and only a human brain and a heart can do it. Why is that so special for our days? And the answer is, we live, as I said before, in a very materialistic civilization. The brainwashing for materialism is a warfare. It is debilitating. It is weakening. It is it is empty. It creates a very strong void, and people need to fill up the void, even by any price. An instant fulfillment, like taking all kinds of antidepressants, medication. I'm not saying you should not take antidepressants. If your physician, your doctor, your therapist said you should, okay, you should. But it's not a solution. You have to understand that you need, as a human being, to bring together central column, to bring together the heaven and the earth, the mind and the body, the soul and the physical body, the evil inclination and the good inclination, and put them together, merge them together, synthesize them together, and by this you kosher reality, and you make the energy of light flow, and it's not a secret anymore. It's not hidden anymore. You can see it, you can feel it in everything you do. This is the power of Gemini. On one hand, could be so empty, so artificial, so hypocrite, like our society. It's all about media. It's about communicating bits of information in a very fast way everywhere, and it's empty. Or you connect through the Torah, you upgrade yourself by using the Torah of Mount Sinai revelation, and by this you learn how to instill light and holiness in everything you do, and that will give you the real true shalom, true peace and balance. That's it for today. I hope there's much more, but we have only a limited time. Thank you, and have a great month of Gemini. תאומים.